why we come here, right? Collaboration, do this together. So walk with me today. Um, Earlier on Java with Jeff, I started down this path. Uh, Last week on Substack, I shared the Rumi quote. If you look around and all you see is darkness, then look again, because you might be the light that someone else needs in the darkness. Let's go this way. We'll see the tree planting. I've mentioned this. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Tim. I've mentioned this a couple times. I think I've counted they're planting like 150 trees over here in the park. So that's super cool. Anyway, we'll go supervise. Again, to both of you, Nicole and Tim, let me know if the audio isn't great. Didn't think about it with a hat on, but that Rumi quote, Nicole, you heard me talking about this earlier on Java with Jeff. If you look around and all you see is darkness, and look again, you might be the light that someone else needs. And then I ran across this post from Case Kenny, who's the author of That's Bold of You, which I think is a fantastic book. I think all of us need to maybe not all of us. I think a lot of us need to read or listen to That's Bold of You. Same thing in the artist way. One of the things that really, let's go this way and stay out of their way. But one of the things that really stood out to me, right, very close to the beginning of the artist's way, and apologies, I forget the author's name. I think it's Jane Crawford, maybe. But she talks about the reason that there are artists that are unknown and there are artists that are known. The difference between those artists is that the ones that become known are the ones that have the audacity to put themselves out there. Thanks, Nicole. And I think that's lost on a lot of us, or there are a lot of us that grew up in a certain way that they're like, no, I need to be quiet. I need to be humble. I need to plant trees. And we don't. And maybe that's why she used the word audacity. Most of us, well, you know what? That's other people. That's what somebody with more experience, with more qualifications, with more whatever. That's what they do. I'm not that person. Imposter syndrome comes in and all those things. And it really stood out to me in the artist's way when she said that. The audacity to tell someone while you're waiting in line at the coffee shop what you do, or to explain something, all the different ways. Audacity doesn't have to be obnoxious, right? And I think maybe that's what we're afraid of. Maybe we're afraid that it will come off that way. Maybe we're afraid that we'll be going against what our grandma told us, whatever it is. But coming back to the Rumi and the Case Kenny things, Rumi quote. Oh, careful, keep it PG. It is icy in some spots. You might be the light that someone else needs. Think about that. When you show up in your authentic way, when you have the audacity to be yourself, not some version of this is what an architect is, this is what a wife is, this is what a husband is, this is what somebody in this neighborhood or Pick the context, put yourself in that context. This is what we do. Now, who are you? Who are you authentically? And, with the understanding that that's what we need. That's what the world needs, is real people to show up authentically and do what they do, be who they are, do what they know is right. Um, be the person that is the best version of themselves that can show up. And in that case, maybe when you show up in that way, you are the light that somebody needs for your clients, for your friends, your family members, your community. Again, whatever the context is. And I think oftentimes we can put that aside and we can forget that. Um, the world needs us, right? The world needs us to show up in that way. And then, like I said earlier in Java with Jeff, the flip side of that in the Case Kenny quote, which was basically, sorry, get past this ice and this terrible, it's here's that I'm going to end up like cracking my head live. It's Saturday night. The Case Kenny quote, think of all the ways that you show up for other people. Maybe as that light in the darkness, like Rumi said, but think about the way that you show up for others and ask yourself, what if I showed up for myself in that way? And that's why I think I got the title. It took me like 4 times trying to start this, trying to type the title in. But what about you? This last month of 2025, whatever your goals are, whatever your needs are, how do you need to show up for yourself? Oh, this is not going to get well. Let's go down here. You can not trying to provide too much entertainment. Um, I said this earlier too. I mean, this struck me. I think the first time that Carolyn, who if you don't know Nicole certainly knows. Tim, you probably know, and anybody else, if you don't know, Carolyn is my girlfriend. The first time, I don't even know what was going on. And it could be simple things, it could be big things, it could be, it could just be, hey, you're having a busy day. Her question was, what do you need? In terms of how do you need me to show up is maybe a way to expand upon that. But what do you need? And when she asked me that the first time, it's kind of like, what? I don't think anybody's ever asked me that before. What do you mean? What do I need? I'm so used to thinking, well, what does somebody else? What does somebody need? What can I bring to this, rather than what do I need? How can I allow someone else to support me? Or even, in the Case Kenny version of this, what if I gave myself that? Hey, today I'm going to go, um, do something for someone else. Or I mean, it can be something tangible, like I'm going to go and actually help somebody or whatever. But it could just be, hey, I'm going to give somebody the grace to say, hey, they need time. They need more time. Um, they need to understand that it's okay. How many times are we harder on ourselves than we would be on any other human in the world? Um, how many times will we do something for someone else and we would never think of doing that for ourselves? It's blue. It happens when you don't like a table. It's a chair. Hmm, okay. Um, how many times do we not show up for ourselves with the same love, the same support, the same energy, the same whatever that we do or would for somebody else? And that's the Case Kenny quote. And I think as we look at the rest of this month, the rest of this year, the next 31 days, sorry, shutting out deck, steadfast bridges, pedestrian traffic, light vehicle, maximum load 5 tons. Okay, well, it should hold me. Fort Payne, Alabama. Interesting. This is a pretty cool spot. Also very icy. There's the if you can find any hawks or owls over here, but um, good place to watch the world go by. Anyway, I said it earlier. I mean, we always look at this basically from Thanksgiving to the end of the year through all the holiday season as a time of giving. I mean, it's it's named that commercially. It's named that for the purposes of philanthropy and faith traditions and all kinds of reasons, right? This is a time of giving, and it certainly is. I mean, I definitely think that we need to remember and honor that because no matter how bad it is, no matter what we've got going on, somebody else, right? Somebody else has it worse. Um, we could do simple things like I, I was I was all prepared to shovel sidewalks and driveways over the weekend, and this turned into nothing but cold. I mean, there's like a dusting of snow, but you can still see the blades of grass through it. So there's no shoveling or anything. But this is a time where we really have the opportunity to show up for our fellow humans or birds. There's a lot of birds around, squirrels. Just show up. But what about for ourselves? What about showing up for ourselves? Um, Again, from a sort of a strategic standpoint, this may be one of the most important months and one of the most difficult months of the year in terms of growth and momentum. It's so fragmented. The time in the office, out of the office, with family, connected, disconnected, all the things that we think need to be done and everything else. It can be really hard to find any sort of continuity to get stuff done, whether that's for us or for relationship or for business work. And that's then comes the big irony, right? Because we can and I was talking to Carolyn this morning before Java with Jeff. I said, it says I didn't do much over the weekend. I did go have Thanksgiving lunch or dinner or whatever with some friends. The kids and I did our Thanksgiving Tuesday night, I think it was, and Carolyn took her kids up to Wisconsin to her brother's house where they kind of had a family gathering up there, and I just I couldn't make that work, so um, I really didn't have that much to do, and therefore I in sort of a rare case I didn't do much, and so shifting gears and getting back into it where I really need to get a lot done this week, and I've got several strategy sessions with people, which is fantastic. I love those. They're fun. They're super productive. And I love that. But shifting out of holiday mode and back into growth mode can be hard. And we're faced with that like almost every week, it seems like in this last month of the year. And I think that gets even more amplified, right, when we get to the first of next year. How do you start out 2026? And for a lot of us, it's easy to go, oh, this is about business. And maybe it is. Maybe it is about your business. Maybe it is about your job or whatever it is that you have. Um, but it can certainly be about your personal growth. It's I'm eating I'm eating so many leftovers right now. Like I said, the kids and I did our Thanksgiving, pretty traditional Thanksgiving, on Tuesday night, and um, I've got lots and lots of leftovers, and it's stuff that I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't normally eat. This is like once a year food, maybe twice a year food. And it's like, what are you going to do with this? So you eat it, and right, in terms of if personal growth is about health and fitness, this ain't it. Right? These leftovers, these meals, they are not it. And so how do we keep it up, and how do we carry momentum into next year? Right? At the beginning of next month, we'll certainly have a conversation about um, resolutionists, right? People that make resolutions. And maybe you're one of those people. I'm not one of those people. Um, but that's real, right? That's real for a lot of people. My New Year's resolution is whatever, because and I think the resolutions are because we're trying to get back on track or get on track. So that's why I think that, this last 31 days is so important. Are we going to carry momentum, or are we going to have to start over? And so for as much as we want to and need to be giving in this time, um, I go back to the question, what about you? What do you need in order to grow, in order to get your mind right, get your body right, to get whatever aspect of you that you really want to work on? I'll go back to the yoga class examples. Most yogis will talk about at the beginning of the session, we'll talk about setting an intention. Why are you here? Why are you here today? Is it for the physical? Is it for the stretching? Is it for the concentration, the focus, the meditation, the mindset? What's your intention? What do you need to get? And they'll remind you that yoga is a very personal practice. You come together as a community in the studio, but you're on your mat, right? You're on your mat. It's your yoga. You'll hear that a lot. Your mat, your yoga. What's your intention? What do you need to get out of this? Because as we went to a barbecue restaurant for Thanksgiving, no turkey, no leftovers. You know, I'm all for it. I'm all for that. It was a lot of fun. Fixing the dishes. I don't usually. I mean, I cook, um, and I like to try different things. I'm on this. There's a guy I found on Instagram. His handle is Shred Happens, and he fixes a lot of um, high balance of protein, Mediterranean focus dishes, and I love that. Um, but it was a lot of fun fixing for and with the kids for Thanksgiving. I mean, all three of us in the kitchen, kind of bopping around doing the things. But oh my gosh, that can be I'm fine with that being a once a year thing. Although Carolyn and I are talking about um, planning a Christmas party. We don't know what that means yet, but a Christmas gathering maybe is a better way to say it, where we get she and I and all the combined kids together. So that that might be more of that fixing all this stuff, but yeah, I'm all for the picking a good restaurant. It's like I'm being mad, actually. Um, okay. What do you need? That's the question. How are you going to show up for yourself in case Kenny language? Again, his book is That's Bold of You. Interesting title. I mentioned it to somebody and they're like, "Ooh, that sounds uh, like a what would you call it? Scolding." It's not that at all. It's about being bold for yourself, showing up for yourself. Um, it's a good one. I listened to that over the course of several flights, a year and a half ago or so. But so what do you need? And then of course the extension. How another one would tie that back to the Rumi quote is again. It's like the speaking of flights, it's like putting your oxygen mask on first, right? What do you need in order to take care of you so that you can then turn around and be the light for someone else? It's all tied together. I did plenty of scrolling over the holiday when I was really didn't have anything to do and kind of needed the rest, needed to not necessarily apply myself. And this it's funny how algorithms work, but lots of posts about mindfulness and lots of stoics, but you need $1 billion. I'm with you. I tried. I had never bought a lottery ticket before in my life. And I was out in California with the client that's currently on hold, but um, I was out in California and the lottery had gone up to whatever it was, like $30 billion or something like that. Was the Powerball, I guess. And so I bought some lottery tickets, Powerball tickets, both in California and in Indiana. I was going to try to get some in Colorado when I was connecting, but didn't have time to try to find them in the airport. But you know, investing. I invested $10 or how much does one cost? It must have been more than that. Probably invested $30. Not not a single not a single hit. So um, I'm with you. So those were the only lottery tickets I've ever bought in my life. Uh, Maybe using AI, figure out how to win the lottery. Oh, low power mode. Let's eat your battery fast. $1 billion is a want, not a need. Yeah, maybe. Maybe at that level. Sorry, trying to take the glove off so I can hear this notification. Sorry about that. Um, Maybe it is, but maybe the $1 billion would definitely help you be someone else's light. This is I don't know how much snow they got in Michigan, Nicole. Carolyn was coming back from Wisconsin. They'd gotten like a little over a foot of snow up there. This is very disappointing. It's like, when you get the way winter is these days in the Midwest, we used to get snow. Now we don't. Actually, well, I guess we did have an early season storm where we got a couple of inches, but it's not like it was when I was a kid. And so now it feels like a lot of times we just get the cold. Every once in a while we get these bitter cold, and it's like insulting. Cold without snow. Hey, what are we doing here? Um, Needs snow, I think, to go with this. Anyway, phone's about to die. Church bells are ringing. 10 bells. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but, or technically foreground there. But think about that. Think about what you need. I keep going back to that quote from um, the Artist's Way. I need some audacity. I think we all need some healthy audacity, not the kind that we see in the news. You've got plenty of unhealthy, toxic audacity to go around, but there's a lot of us that I wonder. Okay, I'm going to look before I cross the street. They can get fast and busy, and it's all icy. So, um, authentic audacity. That's an interesting term. So let's eat some battery fast. Um, what if we had the audacity to show up in all of our authenticity for ourselves and for those around us? Here's the question. All right. My nose is starting to run. It's probably not a good look on camera. So um, thanks for walking with me. I'm almost to the coffee shop. I'm going to cut through this parking lot up here and I'll be there. Phone might die before then. So have a great day. I'll be back, I think, tomorrow. I'm trying to get this into a regular slot right after Java with Jeff. So I'm going to may have to rearrange some things tomorrow to make that happen. But I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks. Have a great day.